Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how to make a Fisher Morphix, which is just a combination of the Fisher cube and a Master Morphix, and it looks like this. So this is the cube I'm making it out of. It's the one that I made into two house cubes in a recent video. I just turned it back into a sort of Fisher cube, and it looks like this. So first what I did is I took it to my bandsaw, and I tilted the table to 31 degrees. That's the angle for making a half truncated cube or something similar to that. So after cutting on the bandsaw, this is what I'm left with. I also slightly sanded down the faces off camera, and I just stuffed Apoxie Sculpt into the pieces. And also I would recommend, if you're doing this, to not fill it with any tissue paper like I did, because I noticed that I ended up sanding a lot deeper than I was expecting, so I ended up sanding through into some of that paper. But it wasn't that hard, it was just a little bit annoying to fix, and there were some holes in some of the pieces. So next I just sanded it down, and at this point it was looking just like a half truncated cube, just with different shaped pieces, and this would be a pretty cool mod if I stopped here, but I figured it would be even cooler if I made it into a Fisher Morphix. So now that I'm done with that, I just got out a nail file, the rough side, and I used it to roughen up the faces, and you could also use a blade to scratch it up, which I also did. And I found out that that's actually extremely necessary, because even with doing this, the extension still fell off. And then, after you do that for all sides, I disassembled the puzzle and got ready for extending. As you can see here, all the pieces are extended. Well, I shouldn't say all, because I only extended maybe about half of them or a quarter of them, just to see what the pieces will look like, because I found it really hard to find the shape. And then I sanded down the sections on the inside of the puzzle that prevent it from being assembled, and then I sanded it down into a sort of Master Morphix tetrahedron shape. So as you can see here, I extended out the pieces again. This is actually one of the biggest pieces. I found that 4 of these pieces, which is how many there are, equal about the weight of a regular Rubik's Cube. So then after that, I sanded down the sections on the inside of the pieces so I could reassemble the puzzle. And then while doing that, I reassembled the puzzle. And then after that, I sanded down the puzzle on the belt sander. And this time it was looking much more like a pyraminx or tetrahedron shape than it did before. And here it is, roughly sanded. I'm going to need to do much more sanding before I could finish it. So I'm done with the sanding, and I also rounded over the edges off camera, but one of the problems I found was the center pieces. They kind of had big holes in them that I couldn't fill, and I kind of didn't want to have to use Apoxie Sculpt again, so I figured a good way to go about doing this is actually capping it with plastic sheeting. So what I did is I sanded down the center pieces, and then I just glued on a little piece of a credit card. Then after doing that, all I had to do was sand down the edges, round it over, then reassemble the puzzle. So now I'm just demonstrating the turning. Some of the sides turn like a regular Master Morphix, and some of them turn in a very weird way. So as you can see here, it is complete. Turning's alright. Could be better with some lubricant. Stickers aren't that great. I cut them myself rather than getting them cut with my sticker cutter. But it looks better than some of my older mods. Unfortunately, one problem with this is if some of these center pieces, these, are bulging out a little bit. If you do put it on the table, it will kind of wobble because of that. But that's not too much of an issue in my opinion. I'm still pretty happy with how it turned out. But anyway, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like, and I'll see you in my next video.